these Christians have gathered for us some statements of children who have spoken about their experience or spoken about what they would like to do after reading the Harry Potter books. For example, a boy named Dylan, the age of 10, says, age of 10, I would like to go to wizard school and learn magic. I'd like to learn to use a wand to cast spells. Would you expect other than this from someone reading about what we have described here in this lecture? This is natural. This is what people would expect from such a book series. A girl at the age of 12 says, if I could go to wizard school, I might be able to do spells and potions and fly a broomstick. High aspirations. Jeffrey, age 11, says it would be great to be a wizard because you could control situations and things like teachers. Catherine at age 9, Catherine says, I'd like to go to wizard school and learn magic and put spells on people. I'd make up an ugly spell and then it's payback time. Carolyn at age 10 says, I feel like I'm inside Harry's world. If I went to wizard school, I'd just study everything. Spells, counter spells, defense against the dark arts, and so on. These are the reactions of children who have read the Harry Potter series. And as we were warning our beloved brothers and younger brothers and sisters in Islam at the Muslim school here, warning them against this evil over the past week or more, we found very strange reactions from them. We asked them to get rid of the books from their houses or to bring their books to the school. And we find some of them saying, after we just mentioned the word Harry Potter, they have not heard a single thing we have said against Harry Potter. Did you remember to bring your Harry Potter book to school? He goes, yeah, I have Harry Potter books. I'm on page 21 or I'm on chapter 21. Not hearing at all what we have been said, what has been said. We've heard even that the children have read each and every book that has come out more than once from our own children, our own brothers and sisters that go to our own Muslim school, that they have read each and every book that has come out. And some of them can name to you events that have happened and what chapter it's in and what book it's in. The extent that some of our young brothers and sisters have fallen into this trap and they have been victimized by their own parents and been left unprotected by their own parents who are made as those responsible for them, for protecting them from such an evil, left unprotected and just pushed into the world of magic, into the world of the shaitan, to be led astray into disbelief in the religion of Islam. They mentioned that over 200 million have been sold in over 40 languages. And of course, by now the number is far greater. This is from the year 2001. Over 200 million books sold in 40 different languages. And I mentioned this is very old, 6 years ago. They said that as well, it's been mentioned that the book most recently sold 11 million copies in 24 hours. The most recent book sold 11 million copies in a period of 24 hours. And we mentioned that was after the opening at 12 o'clock midnight. Having said all of these things and having exposed a lot of the realities or some of the realities of Harry Potter and the meanings that are presented in the books and the ideas presented therein, the stories, the items talked about, the curses, the spells, the magical items, the creatures, the teachers of Harry Potter, his friends, Moaning Myrtle, and the likes, people should realize that we have to wake up and we have to realize that this is not an affair that should be left as children should be encouraged to read. And we should be happy our children are reading. Rather, we're not happy our children are reading things that will lead them into the hellfire. We want our children to read about things which will gain them entrance to paradise. We're not going to be just happy about reading to the point where we say, my child is not illiterate, he's reading, and everyone is so happy because all of the children are reading. And this is the stance of most of the teachers in the schools about the Harry Potter books. They said if we can get the children to read something, 700 pages, it's increasing their vocabulary and it's giving them a lot of benefit. However, it's leading them directly into the hellfire. With a good vocabulary, with a rich vocabulary, they will enter into the hellfire because of disbelief in Allah Azza wa Jalla. So yes, it's increasing their vocabulary and it's reading, as much as that's worth when you're talking about reading something, that will lead them astray. About the author of the book, a brother prepared this just now as we were just preparing to do the lecture. He mentions a few things about the author of the Harry Potter series. Rowling, she's a graduate of Exeter University in England. She's very familiar with occultic practices. She uses elements and philosophies behind pagan religions, Celtic religions, the religions of the Druids, witchcraft, and Satanism. That's from that same Christian group, showing you exactly who is behind that. Another source states, J.K. Rowling, the author of the Harry Potter series, has gone through an awful lot of research. She is very accurate. Otherwise, we would have witches all over the country and the world saying this is not a true representation of our religion. She is actively portraying witchcraft. This is true representation of witchcraft and the black arts and black magic. And yet we have people that say this is mere fantasy and harmless reading for our children. Actually, what makes this more dangerous is that it is couched in a fantasy language and children's literature and made to be humorous and beautifully written and extremely provocative reading. It just opens up children to want to have the next one. This is what is so harmful. Having said all of that, then we have to remind ourselves once more that we are accountable for our flocks, that we are guardians, we are shepherds, and we are accountable for our flocks. We are required by our religion to remove the harm from the way of the Muslims in general. How much more so the harms in the way of our own children in our own houses. We are to remove these harms, especially when these are harms that lead them directly into the hellfire. Harms that are not only disobedience to Allah, but disbelief in Him and disbelief in His religion. Things that cast them outside of Islam. Our first and foremost priority has to be saving ourselves and our children from the hellfire. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu qu anfusakum wa ahlikum nara. O you who believe, save yourselves and your families from a fire. From Surah Al-Tahrim. We are responsible for the trusts that we have been given by Allah Azza wa Jal. Think back to the happiness that overcame your heart when your baby boy or girl was born, and how much you had the intention to honor this child and to raise this child according to Islam and to protect this child from harm, and how thankful you were to Allah Azza wa Jal at that time. And reflect about that and how the heedlessness has slipped into your life and how you have allowed such an evil into your house. How you have been heedless, how you have been lackadaisical about an affair that is the difference between a Muslim and a kafir. With having said this, we again remind ourselves with the obligation to remove that evil from our houses, that the statement of the Prophet ﷺ, whoever amongst you sees an evil thing and let him change it with his hand, that is specifically for the people who have authority to do so. When you are in charge and you are the sultan, like a man is in his own house, like the husband is in his own house, like the woman is in her own house over her children, then you are responsible for removing the harm with your hand. You will be held accountable in front of Allah Azza wa Jal for not physically removing the harm when you have the authority to do so. And you cannot say, I hated it in my heart. That is for the time when you are not able to change the harm or the evil with your hand or your tongue. You are not able to. So then, the only thing left for you is to hate it in your heart. But as a person of authority, in your house, in your school, in the place where you have authority, you are not allowed to say, I will just hate it in my heart and let the people under my authority indulge in what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prohibited. Especially if it's something that is considered to be disbelief in the religion. How much more so must we be on guard? And again, the hadith that the Prophet ﷺ taught us, that there is no servant who's been given any guardianship or flock by Allah Azza wa Jal. He's given him a ra'iyah, he's been made a ra'i, he's been made a shepherd, and he does not convey nasiha. He behaves treacherously and he does not protect them from the harmful things that Allah has warned him about, except that he will not smell the fragrance of paradise. The hadith found in Sahih al-Bukhari.